is Edge Welding Supplies Edge Army Spotlight interview of Austin Hill. Austin, say hi to the lovely people.
Hi, everyone.
So you were just saying you were traveling a lot these days for work. Like where are you traveling to, and what are you doing when you get there?
Uh, well, nowadays I focus a lot on my website and private label manufacturing, so I need to I need to satisfy my itch with custom stuff. So most of the reason I travel is to go do custom jobs at other shops that don't have welders in house, and they can't really ship me their parts to weld. So I go out of town and build cars at other people's garages, basically. And
Kind of like, is it kind of like that tractor you did for PRI?
yeah, yeah, I went to Ohio and worked with Cody 1X Precision and did a tractor and did part of a truck with him.
That's
Yeah, it was
awesome, man.
pretty cool. And then a lot of the time I go to Ohio a lot, Southern Ohio, and then I also go to St. Louis a lot. And yeah, it's not bad. They have a lot of projects going on all the time, and they're like tuning shops. They have dynos and mechanics, so like they can do everything but the fabrication stuff. So instead of them just buying stuff off the shelf and installing parts, I can come in and build them custom kits. Me and the other Austin can come in, build them custom kits, and then they can install and move on with their life. It's pretty cool, and they can put their name on it. I mean, technically, we're coming in and doing the work, but it's for their company, so they get a
I
lot of
got
cool
you.
publicity from it.
They ever put you under any NDAs and stuff like that while you're doing it? If it's like a big reveal or something for a high end client?
Uh, no, not really. I mean, we kind of have a mutual thing where we don't really post anything until they do. So like they get all the credit for doing, having the work done to their place. But we haven't really worked on anything crazy enough for it to be like very secretive.
That's cool, man. I mean, that's it's pretty wild. Just how far you've come. What? How long have you been in the industry?
Uh, well, I started my first job in 2018 welding.
Oh
So
wow, that's
it's
pretty good, man. So
it seems like
you're
a
kind
long
of
time to me.
yeah, seven. I mean, 7 years is a long time, but I mean,
Yeah.
it goes by at the same time. It's kind of relative as to the perspective. It's like I've been working this whole time for 7 years. It doesn't seem like that long, but you look back and you're like, wow. You look at the pictures of the big, your first weld from 7 years ago. You're like, yee.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Those Facebook memories keep you in check sometimes. You're like, wow, I used to be horrible, and that was last year. Crap. Okay.
Yeah, and the best part is like I can remember take like it just flash back to whenever you took that picture of that weld. You obviously took the picture because you thought it was good at the time.
Yeah.
You took that pic. I remember taking that picture and going, "That's the best weld I've done this far." And then 5 years later, you look at it and you're like, "Why did I take a picture of that?"
Or sometimes it's even a week later because if you get those repetitive welds, and then after a week
Yeah,
of doing 200 welds a day, that last weld 5 days later, you're like, why did I take that picture on Monday? This is horrible.
yeah. If you're doing
Yeah,
any type of production, and
yeah.
the first part you've never done it before, you try it, and it even takes you 2 hours to build something, and it looks all right, and then by the end of the week, you're like, you cut your time in half, and it's way, way, way nicer.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a cool thing to just even monitor your own progression, let alone you see somebody else or a friend or somebody like our team members. You watch them throughout the year because see them post and stuff. It's pretty
Mhm.
cool just to watch everybody progress, no matter what.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love the progression. That's the best part.
Yeah. So you're back to your own stuff. So Austin Innovations, that's you and Austin Glasseter.
Glacier, yeah.
Glacier. Sorry,
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
butchered
No,
that
no
on
one knows
purpose.
how to say
I did it on purpose.
it.
So what made you? Because you were in Chicago at B Rogue, correct?
Yeah.
And what made you decide to just kind of start you and Austin start the two Austins start their own business and kind of go from there?
Well, it started a long time ago. Me and Austin worked together at PRL Motorsports in 2018, and that was like
Hmm.
both of our starts into automotive fabrication. And neither one of us made enough money to continue working for someone there. And we were like, dude, we need to start our own thing. So we started buying equipment when we worked there in 2018. We both bought welders, brand new welders from Everlast, which is crazy because I didn't even know who they were at the time. Austin's like, dude, his welders are pretty cheap. My brother uses them. They're pretty alright too. So we buy those and we buy like a saw and a sander, basically have like the most expensive things out of the way. And then we're like, all right, we're gonna start a business. We built one car, and then somehow I found the B Rogue listing online. And I'm like, do not apply for this. If it works, I'm going out there for like a couple of years. If it don't, we'll keep going with the business. Well, then I got the job, so I was like, well, I guess I'm going because by like in a couple of years, I come back, I'm gonna have so much more knowledge to continue with this business.
Yeah, of
So
course.
so that's why I was like, we'll do it, and you keep steady on track with getting more stuff ready for the business. So like the whole time, the
Okay.
plan was to come back and start a business, and then I went out there. It went really well. I learned tenfold everything that I didn't know I was going to learn. I did, and then I was like, dude, start finding a couple jobs, a couple clients that we can work with, like to do their product lines basically. And then I made a deal with B Rogue that if I leave, I'll continue building their stuff. And then they agreed. So I basically knew for a fact that I have enough income to keep the business running until we, got our feet a little bit more wet and more rolling
That's
with
cool,
everything.
man. And then y'all, what do y'all specialize in? Is it still specializing in cars?
Uh, yeah, yes and no. We work with some local machine shops, working with some you know, random welding, and we take in jobs with manufacturing, helping people find machine shops and like 3D printing. And we just recently bought a laser etcher so we can laser etch things. So we
Nice.
kind of push small manufacturing to people, but we also do the automotive fabrication and on a like a behind the scenes kind of thing. We do a lot of private manufacturing, so people I can't really show what I do, but
I get it.
we're still in the scene. We do a lot of car
That's cool,
stuff,
man.
and then usually most of the custom stuff is out of town because
Yeah.
it's the car scene isn't really that huge around here. So we get a couple custom jobs here and there, but it's nothing crazy.
It's nothing like any of the bigger hub cities like Chicago or what the West Coast. West
It's
Coast is pretty big on custom cars.
yeah, in the South, like Florida and like I mean even Texas is huge with it. But
Yeah.
I mean, this city's just not that great with it. I think it has to do with, well, I'd say it has to do with the weather as well, but Chicago sucks with that too, and the car scene's insane there.
Yeah, it's like we get ice and snow, but we're gonna have a 1,200 horsepower Lambo. Okay,
You'd see that. You'd like, it's kind of crazy. You'd be surprised what you see on the road at any given time there.
that's pretty wild, man. But I guess it kind of goes with the demographic over there. So if it's like a lot of large businesses and stuff, and there's business people, there's your pro athletes, people that want to make their cars bigger, better, faster,
Mm,
and that kind of makes sense for Chicago.
yeah.
I didn't. I mean, honestly, until I think it was until you, when I started noticing you, was when I really realized, like, wow, Chicago's got a pretty big like car scene going on.
Yeah, I, I was pretty amazed by it whenever I went out there, just like driving to work and stuff. You just see cool stuff all the time. You go to one car show and it's 40 times crazier than what anything I ever been to. And I was like, this is cool.
That's awesome, man. So, what are your plans to grow for the future? Like, do y'all have any more plans for the business, or are you trying to develop yourself better in a different aspect of welding?
I think this year we are focusing a ton on the online website, trying to stock more people's things to sell just coming up with a ton more merch, a ton more ways to brand ourselves and get our name out there, and just really grow the business as a whole. Because, like, I mean, I've grown a lot on my like personal page, Instagram, and everything. It's a pretty large page, but business wise, it doesn't really do all that much for me. I need to grow. We need to grow our business page, social medias, and like actual sales going through the site. We need to funnel that a ton better.
Okay.
So we're gonna try and release a lot more products this year and just a lot more small things that can bring people to the website just to buy, little things.
Oh, that's cool. I specifically have one of the little tube clamps, the little vice clamps, and I also have the angle finder on the speed square.
Yeah, the center line tool.
Yeah, those, man, I use those all the time. I was using the angle finder and the speed square building railing in the garage this morning.
Awesome. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Dude, every little tool helps, man. Plus, you get that cool little Klein digital level
Mm.
angle finder.
It's like
That becomes, I use that on railing constantly. That helps out a lot.
the digital angle finder is awesome. I love those things. Um, the that's the tough part though. It's like we're building tools for this market that's like all fabricators. So like 90% of the time, half these people could build the same thing I'm selling. It's like that's the
Yeah.
tough part. It's like you want to make it nice enough that they don't want to build it themselves, but not nice enough that it's too expensive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah,
You're
there's
always trying to hit
that
this in
balance.
between margin, and
Yeah.
and then trying to make something that's still nice enough that you want to support it, like wholly, because it's tough making something knowing that it could be improved a little bit, but you can't have 900 variations of one part that you're trying to
Yep.
sell. It's a tough market to be in. I never realized it because I never built things for the people to buy. It was just custom stuff for people on their vehicles. Now it's like a
Yeah.
whole new realm that I'm in. It's pretty interesting, and learning CAD software. That's been a big thing recently with designing these tools and working with machine shops. It's pretty cool to learn that.
That's pretty cool. Do y'all do all the machining on yourself, or do y'all sub the machining out to a shop and they kind of subsidize it for you?
We sub all the machining out. We'll do the design work and then sub the machining out. We don't. I mean, there's no way I could afford any type of machine currently. Maybe in the
Yeah.
future, but
Those get expensive, man. Those the machines get expensive really quick.
yeah, machining is an insanely expensive uh, hobby.
That's awesome. So what has been your favorite project so far as like working on cars? We'll start with that one. Do you have one?
Hmm.
Was it the
Yeah.
first one you ever did start to finish? Like by yourself, you know what I mean?
I mean, I would say that. I mean, that's definitely the best thing. Like, I don't like working. Like, I don't like starting someone else's project, or like I like working with people on projects, but I also like the satisfaction of starting something and finishing it the whole way through. Like, there's something cool about that. That's kind of tough to pick a favorite. I mean, like I keep telling recently, every time I build something, I tell someone that I really wish I would have written down everything I've built, like every car that I've touched, laid hands on, because I think I forgot more than I've done. Like, well, I go down and build 4 cars in a week at a shop, and then I'm like, the next time I go down, they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember this one." And I'm like, I don't remember that at all. Like I built too much stuff, I forget half the stuff.
Kind of lose your place in it.
Yeah, I think I'd say recently one of my favorites was I built a triple turbo Cummins that went to SEMA in Vegas, which
Really?
is like, I mean, one of the biggest auto shows in the country, I think.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that just seemed cool. Even the tractor that went to PRI. This year, I was a part of 3 builds that went to shows, and I've never been able to do that up until this year. So that was pretty cool to actually be able to put it in a building and hundreds of thousands of people walk by it every day and like look at it and say this is awesome. That was just a
That's
pretty cool feeling.
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I was stoked about that.
That's pretty awesome. So what do you feel like your and Austin's, like, as far as your own business, Austin Innovations, what has been the biggest um thing for y'all? Was it the products that y'all put out, like the different tools and stuff, or has it been like a certain project that you feel like has gotten y'all going more?
I think the tools really have been that like blindsided me.
Hmm.
Um, that was definitely the rising momentum in it all because I mean we were making it by perfectly fine, just building parts, but then we like even just the vice kit. I made 25 of them at first just to sell to the couple people that might buy them, and they sold. I mean, just the first 25 I made sold in an hour, and I was like, "How?" This was just a tool I made for myself. I thought it was a few people would buy, and then it was getting blown out of proportion. I'm like, this could be like a cool break that we need. Like, we just need to focus on helping other people with tools. Like, we do pretty good on it. I was surprised by it.
That's awesome. That's, I mean, 25 in the first hour. That's really good for not really having like the company name or anything established to where you've been doing stuff and you're known, and then you get more well known for it. You just kind of kick the door down with the first thing, and it's like, here we go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. I was even scared to make 25 of them because like I it's, we work with a machine shop in Kentucky, and I you just giving them all the money to make 25 of these little V blocks, and I was like, man, that's gonna suck if these things don't sell. We're gonna have to just set them on the shelf, and then they did, and I was like, well, that's a relief. Like that's crazy. I was stoked about it. We were
That's
printed out
awesome.
all the labels, and we're just like we couldn't stop smiling. We're like, we're shipping these to people all over the U.S. right now. This is the first thing we've ever done. Like it was so cool shipping like real people, real products that we made, and
Yeah,
just anywhere in the world was like the coolest thing in the world. That like we were smiling ear to ear when we were packaging up stuff.
that's super awesome, man. Has anybody come up with a creative way to use your tools that y'all didn't think of that you've noticed?
Um, I'd say a few times there's been people that have like modified our tools to fit on different vices or made them be able to use like with a drill. And then some people take the V block and they'll like put them on the tabletops and use them to prop parts up, or they put them in the saw and it'll hold tubing in the saw really nicely, actually. So that's been pretty
Those
cool.
are things that I haven't thought of.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll buy like multiple V blocks because we sell them individually and they'll just throw a couple on the saw or throw a couple on their table, or it's pretty neat.
That, that's really cool, man. It's kind of cool when something comes out of something else. You know, like you're intended for this one purpose, and then all of a sudden, like other people are like, "Oh, well, I use it like this, use it like that." You're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool. It's pretty neat." What
Yeah.
do y'all have anything new that y'all are working on right now that you want to talk about?
Um, right now there's a couple small things. We're working on a couple new torch holders. Nothing. There's a couple like I'd say to hit like the cheaper side of things with the torch holder, someone that doesn't want to spend a lot of money, and then
Yeah,
a couple new options that aren't on the market, and then
that's cool.
like we did like a tabletop tungsten holder we're working on that's also holds your like your filler rod ends that you end up don't using couple inches. It'll hold all the
Oh yeah.
spare like the throwaways of those. So you just
Oh,
plop
that's
them in
cool.
there on your table, and it's magnetic to your table. And then we're also just working on like I said, we just got a laser, 50-watt fiber laser. So we're working on a ton of new like key change and just merch stuff with that, and being able to laser anything really. So that's pretty cool. That's
Make your own little part tags and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, like weld on tags and do it for other people too. That can be another source of income. So we can weld like or laser Austin innovations on a tag, bend it around a tube, and weld it on there, so we can actually stamp all the parts that we're making.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
Really cool.
it's pretty sweet. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Is it hard learning the new? Or what are y'all using for software for? Is it Lightburn for
Yeah,
the laser?
yeah, yeah.
I have
I
one of
haven't
those
really learned it.
little.
Austin's been like on it every day, messing with it. So I told him today
Oh
that
yeah,
he needs to teach me how to use it so I can test it out.
that's cool, man. Lightburn's not too bad. It's just hard trying to figure out all the layers when I was messing around with our little
Mm.
laser that we have here at the house.
It's definitely pretty cool. I didn't know how far into it you could go. Like I thought it was just like simple. You just lasered off something, but there's different ways that you can get the laser to actually etch in different colors, like lighter grays, even black, and also lasering like full blown grayscale pictures, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah, there's a ton of like laser engraving like groups on Facebook and stuff like that. I've done a bit with the small laser. We have like a 10 watt.
Hmm.
It's not a fiber laser. I can't. No, it's one of those little like $200 two trees ones or whatever. But
Hmm.
my wife used it to make earrings and do the little engravings and stuff on there. So it
That's
was
pretty cool.
definitely interesting, like learning, you know, percentage of power and speed versus like your color combinations, like you were saying, to get different color combinations out of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we've been messing. The machine we got, they give us like a ton of business cards to play with, and then like powder coated tumblers to play with, and we were messing with the tumbler and the speeds and how many times you go over it. Like, there's so many different variables with that. It's going to be interesting to actually get it set up correctly.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm pretty sure y'all are gonna try to push the envelope with the use of that as much as y'all can.
We're gonna try. Yeah, we got it the first day. We got like the software for it, and I was in the middle of building a Ducati exhaust, and I was building the mount for the exhaust, and I was like, dude, we just got the laser. Let's test it. And we burned our AI logo into it, and I was like, that's just cool. Like we get to use it the first day.
That's awesome, man. It's kind of cool when there's not like such a huge learning curve to a new tool or something you get to where, oh crap, I got to call tech support. I got to get on the phone with this person.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I don't have the right computer. That whole.
yeah. I mean, I was surprised how well it worked as soon as we got it. I mean, there's obviously it could be better, but that'll come with usage.
That's awesome, man. What's been your favorite moment of the last year as far as travel? Was it FabTech, PRI? Did you actually get to go to SEMA to see your truck that you built out there? Was there
Uh,
anything like that?
I'd say Fabtech and SEMO was probably like they were probably neck and neck. Both like was the first time going to a new place. Fabtech was in Orlando, which I've never
Mm-hmm.
been to Orlando, which that was super cool. And renting the house was awesome, and just being with the whole group at one time was awesome. I That was the best year so far. That was a really cool experience. And SEMA being able to go to Vegas and see something I built there was just crazy. I'd never been to Vegas. I didn't know what to expect. It was like the longest flight I've ever been on. It was a lot.
I
I
guess
mean,
that would be
it
a long
wasn't.
flight.
Yeah, too bad it wasn't like. I'm pretty sure it was warmer in Pennsylvania the time whenever I went to Vegas. It
Oh,
was like
oh,
cold.
really?
It was like cold in Vegas. I was ready to get off the plane. It'd be like 80 degrees or something, but I was sadly mistaken.
Oh no, man. That's a rarity when it's colder in Vegas than it is colder in the desert than it is in Pennsylvania. That's
Yeah, it was like a warm weekend here, and it was like a cold weekend there. I was like, man, it always happens.
Do you have any future projects that you're aware of or can talk about that you got coming up for people to look out for?
um, we are we're gonna be doing a job down at Tamir's Performance, which is the place we own in St. Louis, and we're gonna be taking a older Ferrari and swapping the motor and doing a whole turbo kit on it.
Really?
So I don't know when this is happening. Hopefully, it still does happen because I'm talking about it. But that should be pretty cool, and it should get a ton of attention. And I can't wait to showcase that.
That's pretty cool, man. Never
Yeah,
been done.
I don't know. You know what? I usually say that I think everything's been done, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure. So we'll see.
I mean, at least everything's been attempted for the most part, especially with
Yeah,
cars, you know.
yeah, dude. There's some interesting minds out there when it comes to this.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, cool, man. I feel like we've taken up enough of your time. Is there anything you want to plug? You want to tell people about Austin Innovations, how to find you, how to get your products?
Um, Basically, social media is Facebook and Instagram currently, and it's just Austin Innovations is our tags. Um, Me personally is Hill underscore Welding, and then our website is actually glaisterbuilt.com.
Uh-huh.
Um, for some reason, Austin Innovations was taken, so we're still under the old account, and it just pops up to Austin Innovations. So that's how you find my stuff online, and yeah, that's it.
We're gonna put some stuff in the show notes, and that way send some links so that way everybody can reach out and see you, see all the amazing product that you and Austin make.
Cool.
All right, man. Thanks for your
All
time,
right.
bud.
I appreciate it, Brad. Have a good one.
No problem. Hey, don't.